Yeah, I love that. And I actually even was having a conversation with my mom yesterday, and I was just like, I just feel this sense of contentment. And it's like, I'm someone who's, always striving to achieve and love a challenge and all those sorts of things. But there's this inner sense of, maybe it's like peace, but it's a contentment in so many areas of my life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got this beautiful family, these friends, this dog, this, like, I could just rattle all these amazing things off. And I was like, I just love who I am and where I'm at. It's just such a
Yeah.
beautiful feeling.
So this is really important for everyone, myself, yourself, everyone to understand. You think about everything that you just said, what did it actually take to get that? Like, cause that's a different world, isn't it? People look at people that are like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely killing, I'm doing this, and this. But like you said at the start of this chat, I didn't realize what people go through to get to where they are. So that's where like the whole comparison thing, like I've got to pull myself up on it all the time. Why? Because I'm freaking human like everyone else. People comparing themselves to other people that have been doing it for 20 years longer. And it's like, man, you just got no idea of the nitty gritty stories. Like that moment, me looking at myself in the mirror. Not many people would know that. And it's like, if you could understand how profound that would be for an individual, then you can match it up to the behavior that they're producing now. You're like, oh my, that makes so much sense. Couldn't be any.
Totally. And comparisonitis, like I like to call it.
Oh, that's a good one.
You cannot compare someone's end journey. Well, there's no end journey, but later journey or mid journey to your beginning, because it's a totally different level. But not even that. I always actually joke that with every new level, there's a new devil, and we have to move through that level and devil to get to the next layer and the next phase. And it really is, these people that you see are overnight successes. They're 12-year overnight successes or 20-year overnight successes, and every single thing and every single layer they've gone through has gotten to where they are. You just need to stay in your own lane and focus on your space, and recognize that we do have these human moments. I still compare myself from time to time, like we all do, and that's okay. But it's just the awareness that pulls us back into our own lane and our own space, and recognize that we're that unique being doing our unique thing that our soul is here to do, right?
Yeah, so, massively. And look, I can definitely relate. I think I'll tell you this now. Hopefully it's not what's the word I'm looking for? Hopefully it's not a bit of a downer, but the more you know, especially about the self or yourself, the self, whatever you want to call it, the more tools you have, the more frustrating things become, because
right?
because when you get to that time, you're like, why am I feeling like this? I've got 3 different ways to not feel like this. This is BS. And yeah, I tell all my students, I'm like, hey, I'm going to warn you right now, your biggest problems and challenges are going to come after learning these skills.
Yes. I actually had this conversation with my friend, and I like to joke that he's very 3D compared to me. Yeah. And he's like, that there's not a reason for everything, or not a thing that comes with this, and there's no connection point to synchronicity. And I'm like, really? Is there not? And he's like, things just are. And I'm like, no, they're not. It's just this world that I'm in compared to him that's so different. And I really think the reason I share that is, the more work you do, or the deeper you go down the hole, the more you see things so differently, and your mind is so expanded that sometimes I wish I was that person who's like, oh yeah, that just happened.
Yeah, exactly. It was a simpler time, right?
Yes.
And I mean in the most, beautiful way possible, because, and this comes back to like the consciousness side of things, right? It's like, people, I want to get more conscious. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you're going to be more aware of more things at any one given point of time. It's like anything. It sounds good, but like you said before, the next level brings the next devil. It's like you're both going to have challenges, pros and cons from it. And I just think it's really, sometimes I think it's funny, right? Only because of the sheer fact that I tried to do it, and I did do it for so long. It's like, I got to raise my vibration. I got to raise my level of consciousness. And the thing that I found was, the more I did that, the more I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
We always joke, my girlfriends and I always joke that we're pretty much fucking ourselves over the more we learn.
Yeah, and that's one of that's one of the sides of the coin of the coin. Yeah. You can't have one without the other. So totally. It's a crazy journey, right?